right
the
word.
thing that you were talking about with the fish, by the way, the bit that was bad.
Go on, Emma. We keep talking.
Go,
You talk.
Go.
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about
I'm
Dev's.
Dev's not
Dev-
angry.
Dev's
He's
Hurry
just
up.
disappointed.
Dev's
Hurry
probably
up.
heard this. That's what's funny.
No, I'm talking about Dev's film clip that he showed me. The bit that was the worst is the guy just put his hand in this fish's
In its
gills.
mouth.
No, in the
Yeah.
gills.
Oh, and gills.
And I thought that's
Ah.
really cruel.
I don't think he
Is
was
that the
thinking.
same as sticking your fingers down someone's throat?
Yeah, it would be. That's their wind. That's where they breathe. Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
just really cruel.
because that's how you drown fish, where you go backwards so their gills fill up with water.
Ah, that's interesting.
Have you ever thought that if you hook a fish and you put it back in, it's now bleeding?
Maxie's like, hold on. Watching your face react. You were like, oh.
But water comes out of the gills.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's saying if you pull it backwards,
pull it backwards.
it'll fill up.
It won't have that time to push the water out.
Water out.
Yeah, it'll just be.
So that's like pushing water.
up your butt.
Hey guys, I'm Emma,
I'm Devin.
and we're from the B-Side Word, and we're hanging with CJ
Maxie.
and Alexander. We're just a group of friends from around the world. We share and discuss thoughts on second page news. Come join us. So this one's called Simon Says Dance, but not Simon with an S, it's Simon with a C. Don't know what it stands for. But
Like
Simon-
Cyberman, is it not? Simon?
No,
Cyberman?
is that what
Maybe?
it's
No, it does
CIMON.
say in here.
Does
Oh, okay.
it?
My bad.
Okay, well,
Go.
I actually missed that part. That's my bad. While
I'll
you're
find
looking
it,
at
don't
what
worry.
while you're looking at what that stands for, I'll explain it. So, Simon is an AI who lives aboard the International Space Station. So, engineers built Simon. I guess like he can give them information as well as be a friend to them. And
Like a Tamagotchi.
It looks like a big time.
futuristic
It really does.
Tamagotchi.
Is that what it is?
does.
Simon has
Yeah.
a cartoon face, which actually it looks a bit scary, to be honest.
No,
But-
no joke, it genuinely is a big Tamagotchi.
Yeah,
And it floats. It looks straight out of Doctor Who, to be honest. It just floats through the air.
yeah.
See, this is
Hovering.
what I was talking about. Me not reading the articles. This is what you get. Spontaneity. Yeah.
Spontaneity.
Sorry, what was
Okay, I'm writing this down. By the end of this series, we're going to have a Dev dictionary. What was that? Spontaneity.
What was the other one the other week?
Deafy.
Deafy.
You get deafy.
So that's two. Deafy and
The
spontaneity.
B-side dictionary, as told by Dev.
Oh. Spontaneity. How do you spell spontaneity?
Spontane-
Tidy.
SPTity.
Spady.
Oh my gosh. So Simon, they were actually recording his first like interaction with a human, and they engineered him to learn about this astronaut Alexander Gerst. So they're recording, and Alexander starts asking him some Simon, could you do this for me, please? And they're just sort of like mundane tasks and stuff just to show off what Simon knows. And then he goes, Simon, play my favorite song. And Simon proceeds to play his favorite song. Can't remember what it was. And then astronaut's like just bobbing along for a little bit, kind of enjoying it, and then says, Simon, stop music or cancel music. So he does. And then the astronaut asks him to do something else, and Simon just basically doesn't listen or doesn't follow commands, and he goes, let's listen to music again. Or don't you, or I think he says, I love dancing to music or whatever. And he's like, no, I asked you to cancel music. And Simon says, please be nice. Right? That's the first, like, what the hell? And then Gerst is like, he's talking to the people down on land, whatever, Earth, and he's like, he's asking me to be nice. He's like, I am nice, Simon, I am. And Simon's like, don't you like it here with me? What? What the heck, right?
I feel like
I was like,
two ways
what?
to tell this story, and Emma's choosing to tell it as a horror story, just so you know.
That's true. Yeah. I watched the video and I didn't realize how bad it was until Emma just told me how bad it was.
I watched it, but like I just like, what the hell? That's freaky.
Yeah.
And basically he just sort of wasn't listening to the astronauts' requests, and what did he say last? You watched the video?
He just wanted to dance, Simon did.
Yeah.
But do you think it's hard to dance in space?
Yes, because I was noting how that guy was sitting like this, right? He had to
Like,
sit
I
like this
love
the
where your
whole
mind
time.
just went.
Do you know when you dance, like when you like chilled, you let the gravity bounce you. Do you know?
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
he sort of had to go up and then he had to push himself down. So every motion had to be the. Do you know what I mean? Like when you dance and you relax, you just sort of move and then you fall. And then you move.
Totally.
That's how I think you dance. Like you kind of.
Yeah.
You bob into
everybody's in their seat bobbing and trying to bob like they were in space. That's what's happening right now. Just to give context to the people that are listening, everyone's in their seat bobbing, trying to bob in space right now. That's a lot.
It was just because the way he did it, he had to like move his arms up and down. You know, it wasn't like you can't just bounce. You have to go up and then go down. And if you don't stop yourself, you just
can we get this video up?
Keep going.
Do you know what else can you say about this?
I was surprised at how bad
Simon did.
the
It is a
Simon
Tamagotchi.
robot was.
Oh wow!
You know, like the Amazon and Google Home and all those things in your
Echo
home,
and
they're pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you talk to those, they're pretty good. This was, considering these guys are like the cutting edge of technology, right?
Yeah.
Well, I hope so. It was a poor effort, I thought.
Was he scared?
What?
The person
He
asking.
wasn't scared,
No.
but I think he was just
No.
like, oh, he's not doing what he's
Frustrated.
supposed to be doing. Like that
frustrated.
type
I
of
reckon he was
thing.
embarrassed. Wasn't it? This
Yeah,
was live,
maybe.
right? He was like, look at us.
I don't know
We
if it
can't
was
even.
live, was it? Oh,
I'm
must
pretty
have
sure it
been.
was live.
Was
And
the
it was
original
just like-
pranksters on the other side? Original pranksters? Were they just like
What?
the guys? It's like there was a
Oh, yeah.
prank show, and they're like, "No, don't you like hanging out with me?" Like someone's actually on the microphone just.
Oh, you're doing the
And then
talking.
at one point in the video, because he's set to fly, right? He goes, Simon, we'll test his flying or whatever. And then Simon just wanted to be near the deck, like kept going down and wouldn't go back to where he was supposed to go to. And he's like, no, I think he likes being near the deck because he keeps going back down there. Like, what?
I've not seen that one. Can it move around then?
Yeah.
I didn't know it could
Yeah,
move,
so
like...
I think the first command was Simon rotate at a degree of 90.
Yeah, I knew it could rotate, but I didn't know it could, like...
Yeah, I
Go
think
side to
so.
side.
It hasn't got thrust or anything. Thrusters.
Because that takes a lot more energy to be able to move side to side in
It,
space.
it
I don't
didn't
know.
really go. It kind of went down, sort of on a diagonal a little bit, and then
Doesn't it
back
take
up.
very little energy to move side to side in space? Because
No, because what I'm saying is
nudge it and then it'll float.
if it's rotational, you can just rotate something, and you can do that using a battery energy. But if you want to move in space, you have to throw mass in one direction, so you have to go in the other direction. So you have to blow
just have
the
like
air out, I guess.
I
Maybe.
heard an
Oh,
air
yeah, like a
sound.
hairdryer.
I
Just-
heard an air sound.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. A bit like a hairdryer. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That's a hell of a
Ignore me.
hairdryer, Maxie.
What?
That's a hell of a hairdryer.
What is?
You should. The hairdryer that Melody uses is. I
Unreal.
wish it sounded like that. Yeah. Have you ever had? All hairdryers are crazy loud, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
They
No, I
are.
take it back. You
No,
are
they
right.
are.
Hairdryers
That
are
was
loud.
a very quiet hairdryer. Maybe a bit deeper than it should have been.
Yeah.
More of a.
Yeah. So with this Simon guy, I thought, well, bloody Nora, like, and I was looking at other AIs that have sort of gone wrong. The other week we spoke about that. What, the Twitter bot, Tay? Was it Tay? And she started like saying profanities on Twitter after about 10 hours or something like that, and they pulled her
Oh, the
down
one that
after
get
about.
fed the.
Yeah, and she was
It just
saying
got
about
fed the same type of stuff.
Racist.
yeah,
sorta.
yeah. So that was one. But apparently, so there was like a research done on Wikibots. So do you know what Wikibots are? They're designed, Wikipedia like employ, well, they don't really employ really, but they have these robots that sort of clean up anything that's maybe factually incorrect or grammatically incorrect or whatever and put what's supposed to be there, right? And they researched multiple wiki bots, right? And found that over the years, they've been feuding with each other. Like certain ones were feuding with each other. So like one bot would like clean up something and then another one would come in and be like, no, that's wrong. It's supposed to be this. And then the other one would be like, no, it's this. And it lasts for years. For years, they just go in after each other and like be like, no, this is what it's supposed to be.
So
like,
the bots
what?
have different perspectives.
Yeah, because they're programmed to, I think it's the way they're programmed or whatever, but they just keep going in and.
Oh, that's some shit.
I know. And there was another one with Google Home smart speakers like ours. So they had these two Google Home speakers debating the existential questions with each other. And it went on for days.
What? Did they come up with an answer? Was there an answer?
So, as in the meaning of life, why are like who are we? Like who are we? Why are we here?
If they say 42, I'm going to be a bit.
No, but it got pretty.
What's 42?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What?
They build a supercomputer. They built Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is an old. I think it was originally a book. Then there's a VHS, and then they made a new film. But they build this supercomputer, like in the universe. They build this supercomputer that's supposed to come up with the meaning of life. And then it tells them to come back in like 100,000 years or something. And then they go back and it says the answer's 42. And they're like what? If that's the answer, what's the question? They're like, if that's the answer, what's the question? And they go, oh, I'm gonna have to build another computer to answer that for you. It's just like an ongoing joke. But if they said 42, that would start to ask the questions.
What? Oh my god!
Just a quick question: have we put a timer?
No.
Nope.
CJ's not here. CJ would have done the timer.
I say, who is our official timer?
I feel.
Well, we've
like,
had three.
CJ's the best timer.
We've had three.
Yeah, but to be fair, the third person's attempt, he's not even here.
Oh my
I think I was the last person to try last week, and I was very bad. The week before
CJ
I was
took
good,
over.
and then last
CJ
week I was
took
very
over.
bad.
Yeah, we had an alarm.
fair-
We had an alarm and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon
I'll
we're
do
halfway
on the next
through.
one.
You got it?
We're
I
halfway
think we're more than halfway through. But have you heard about the? I think it was an Amazon Echo that started just saying stuff in the middle of the night.
What?
So everyone be asleep, and then your Amazon Echo is like downstairs in your living room or wherever you keep your Amazon Echo, and it's like, and I think it would just start laughing. Like it didn't say anything; it would just start laughing, or it'd be like "hello," and it'd be like.
We're getting rid of our Google.
I didn't even know they could laugh.
When I was at my parents' house, I heard their Google Home try and like start a conversation so many times.
Oh,
So,
ours
like,
does it. Ours does it too.
What happened?
Sorry, I
Maxie?
didn't get that. What were you looking for?
Yeah,
Sorry.
ours does that, or it'll actually give you
Give me
an
a
answer
second.
for something. But
I'm
quite
not.
like sometimes it'll do it when you're watching TV. I think actually that
What?
one I was telling about is one of them was a Google Home, the other one was Amazon Echo. Are they different things then?
Yeah, one's Amazon,
Yeah.
one's Google.
Yeah, but the picture. But okay, this is why I'm confused,
They do the same thing.
guys.
Oh, they do the same thing. Yeah,
Because the picture that it shows looks exactly the same. So I'm like, okay. But you know what they said to each other? They ended up like insulting each other.
This
No.
Is,
Yes. One of them said, "You
What?
are a manipulative bunch of metal."
really?
They got
Wait, did
into
they
like
know that
they
this was pre-programmed? I think.
no,
Like,
this went on for days, and
how
there
does
was
it know it was a
millions
bunch
of
of
viewers
metal?
watching live.
I mean, as in wasn't it made for they must have designed it so they knew they was talking to another version of itself, not a human.
I don't. Because they got into a heated argument about whether there were humans or robots as
Okay,
well. so
I'm not worried about
sure.
AI anymore. Because if we implement all the problems that humans have into AI, nothing's going to get done anyway. Nothing's going to get... Everyone's just going to be arguing. They're going to start their own podcast. And then they're just going to start talking to each other. It's going, no, this is the right way. This is the right way.
Unlimited patience too, so they just keep going on.
That's
that.
right.
Oh my god!
And then the insults will get worse. Oh, we're all right. Don't worry about it.
That-
There'll be another word. Don't worry about it. AI is stuff.
That was kind of like a question I was going to ask. Was do you think when you look at like AIs and all that kind of stuff, when we look at these experiments they're doing now, whatever, it seems to be that we have an intention and we cannot make our intention actually then go through when it comes to AI. So when we program AI in the future, are we going to be able to act? Are we ever going to get what we plan to get, or is it always going to turn out different?
What
I reckon it's always going to turn out
As in
different.
AI in general, like, are they ever going to do what we expect them to do, or is it literally always going to be a shock behavior?
I reckon it's going to be
like
shock.
when you have a kid.
It's like having a god child, not a normal child.
It's a godchild, totally.
It's like having a demigod.
Yes.
Moana.
The Rock.
You know what?
Moana.
You know what? Having AI is like when they found Clark Kent.
What do you mean?
And you're now like, all right, when they found Smallville, when they found Clark Kent, and he was a superhero and he has all these powers and he's discovering his powers at the same, and AI is going to be saying they're going to discover throughout their lifespan, oh wait, I'm not a human, I can do way more than these things.
Oh man.
And we're just going to be along the ride, like, let's see how this goes.
So there's going to be like superhero AI and supervillain AIs battling it out.
But
do you think like this is all Marvels and all these superhero films are just AIs in like
conspiracy on the superhero films?
They just cover it with human stories.
You know, the AI with the citizenship. I think she was in an interview.
Sophia.
Sophia. And they were asking her questions, and she was like saying, "Oh yeah, I want to have a family and kids and have a job and all this." And then he said, "Do you want to destroy the human race?" And she goes, "Yes, I will destroy the human race."
I'm fairly confident that was a joke.
Did you see it?
That was a bad joke.
That is a bad joke.
No. As in, this isn't new, is it?
No, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics.
One?
Yeah, Sophia. Yeah.
This was
I don't
before
remember
she got her citizenship.
But I believe there's a lot of context involved in that you missed.
I probably did.
It was interesting. I watched Joe Rogan had the guy on this week. I've not watched the whole podcast. I watched a segment where he's talking to the guy who's one of the creators of Sophia. And it's really interesting listening to like how because obviously he's someone who's I think they said they're on, I can't remember what, 12th iteration or something like that. But it's interesting listening to him because he's obviously super pro AI. So like Joe Rogan's trying to spit concerns at him and he's like, no, because we're going to do this, that, and the other. He's a bit of an eccentric. But something interesting he pointed out was they're talking about like sort of the mentality of the AI and all that. And he's saying they're doing meditation and stuff with it. So they're programming this AI to be a more relaxed mind state person. Like that's part of their ethos of how it will be not a kill all humans type. Which who knows if that's good logic or not. What? I've never made AI, but
that sounds like they're just keeping their components fresh.
But just in terms of like they're teaching the AI how to be. I'm probably doing a horrible job of explaining this, but they're teaching AI how to be like a sort of like a calmer mind state, like, so, like in the same way as a human.
Yeah,
but I don't understand that. I didn't realize AIs don't have it. Like, don't we? Isn't it like the emotional? When we get emotional, we get less calm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand when AIs when they get overwhelmed with things. It's because maybe too much stuff is going through their RAM, too much data, is going through them at one point, and they just tone it down. Is that the same as saying they're calming themselves down, they're meditating, or is that then just restart? Like I restart my computer sometimes because the battery's getting hot.
Yeah, but they're gonna have if it's AI, it's gonna have emotions, isn't it? Isn't that part of it being AI?
I mean,
what?
Emotions?
Why would it have emotions?
Know. Is it?
Huh?
Why
would it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. To me, it's not. It's not AI if it doesn't have emotions. How would it be AI?
Huh.
AI is supposed to be the same level as humans, isn't it?
Oh man.
Yeah, but that's the distinguishing factor, right? Between us.
I don't know. Like I thought if AI can just make decisions themselves on like anything, like
I thought they were
it has to be
emotionless.
This may be a really weird thing to say. I feel like AI without emotions is scarier than AI with emotions.
Totally. That's why I'm scared.
Is it?
I don't know.
Because AI without emotions is always rational. And trust me, as someone who is mostly rational, that's not a good thing for humanity.
I know.
Because as Maxie said, like the game, you want to win the game. Like that's your objective.
Mm-hmm.
If you have emotions, you take in other things into consideration.
Well, it's
you don't
like
just take in the result.
It's like AI military. Like they say, if a human is holding a gun First of all, it has to make a decision if it's going to shoot it. Then it has to, which is a moral act. Then it has to actually pull the trigger, which is another. You've got to go through 2 moral acts before actually doing it. Whereas an automated AI would just be like bang. No emotion.
The thing is, right, like emotions, for an AI to have emotions, we know the building blocks of AI is just lots of nodes that say yes, no. Like that's what AI is, right? It's just lots of a big network of nodes that say yes, no, and it goes through loads of different patterns. It comes out of a result, and it says on your screen number 42 or whatever, right? That's what AI is. So for us, the way we see emotions, we say it's unpredictable. Like for AI to do anything unpredictable, to me sounds a lot more dangerous. Like when I say unpredictable, I mean like you can never go into the code and be like, how did that happen? Do you know what I mean? Like you can find the source of where it came from. If you can't do that to AI, you have no idea that any AI is thinking the same, which means you can no longer generalize AI, in which case it only takes one AI that we have because we don't understand how any of them work anymore because they're all slightly different, because we can't root what's happened anymore. So that means we have not one thing to worry about. We have as many AIs as there are on the planet to worry about, and they've all got different ideas, different intentions, different emotions. As soon as emotions becomes unpredictable, or AI becomes unpredictable, and it comes from more than one source, like there's more than one AI program, then you're like, how do you control it from that? How do you stop that?
Isn't that the fear? I thought that was the fear.
Yeah, but I don't think.
That
what I'm saying is I
anyway.
don't think, because of the way, maybe it'll change with quantum computing and stuff, because of the way computer works today, where essentially it's literally just on off. That's everything says on off. It's binary. It says 1 or 0.
But you can't have AI with our computing power. Like, I thought you have to have quantum computing to have AI.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's
I
just a case of.
I thought that was like
because I know quantum computing. It's just just to make it very clear, if like this sounds like crazy, in the conventional computers we use today, computers we use today, right? Every single point in it would say 1 or 0. So if it tried to say the number 2, it would just put 2 1s next to each other. Like, I might kill the binary thing here.
Little bit.
That's not how binary works. It will say 0 1, right? And if it wants to say the number 3, it will say 1 1. And if it wants to say, it would just be 1s and 0. That's it. And that's all it can do. So when it puts text and stuff, it's just a load of 1s and 0s in a line, and that then makes something happen on the screen. But with quantum computer, there's no longer just 1s and 0. It's an infinite amount of numbers from 0 to 1. It can be like anything, and all that we're trying to control that. So that means you can have one node that used to make one decision can now make an infinite number of decisions. So as soon as you put those nodes all together, we can now have a computer which is just like the thinking power is just like, you know, it blows up.
Yeah.
So if we can control that, which is what we're working on now and struggling with, all of a sudden, and that's like that. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know enough about the subject. Maybe you do, Alex. Where that's coming in the future?
Shit.
Well, I don't know. I don't know too much on it. I know that they talk about, like, this guy, for example. He was talking about quantum computing. In fact, let me take it back a little bit. Elon Musk in general, something that he puts out there is the idea that when we predict how quick things are coming, if it's 40 years or more, then the chances are it's going to be more than what they predict. And the reason they say that is because the normal working span of any scientist or any person in this field is about 40 years. So if they're predicting 45 years, they're saying with the current level of technology and everyone who's in the field, we're not going to get it done in our time. It may come in this time, but the chances are typically we're wrong. It's normally longer. Yeah, I thought it was quite smart. But when they say things less than 40 years, they're saying we have everything we need right now. If not, it will be developed in the very near future, and we will be able to do that. Now, he says when you look at things like the growth of technology, when they say things like 20 years, 10 years, we are terrible at those predictions. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we predicted, AlphaGo.
Yes.
Yeah.
AlphaGo.
That's right.
The prediction in 2015, I think was 2027
30?
or something.
Yeah.
Or it might have been 2030 by 2017 it was done. Like it was,
Is it Alpha Zero? How long did Alpha Zero? Was it Alpha Zero?
What came after?
The one after.
Is that the chess?
I think AlphaGo was the original. Alpha Zero was the one that then could simultaneously beat everyone.
The black and white beads. It's a black and white checkers thing.
Yeah, so to give an idea, if you don't know the game is basically I don't know how to play it. It's supposed to be the most complicated game we have as humans.
And it's weird because it looks easy, but it's like the most complicated.
It's kind of like imagine like a really big chessboard with beads that you put on it, black and white, and you play against each other. I don't even know what the goal is, to be honest, but the idea was that the game
to dominate the board.
Yeah. The game is supposed to be the world's hardest game for humans, and they were saying AI wouldn't be able to learn it. It'd be too complex, or it'd take time for it to be able to learn and beat humans. But then it went on and not only did it learn to beat humans very quickly, they built a second version, which now can beat all the best humans at the game simultaneously and win 100% of the time. That was just more for the audience, not for you guys. But
yeah, I get that. Do you know what? The thing is, like when I say stuff like this to people, their response is okay, we're wrapping up in a minute,
wrapping
right?
It up.
Okay, let me just this closing statement for AI. That when this happens, they're like, yes, but we built a robot which is very specific for this game. Like that's not. But why this is so significant is because, like a robot or the computing power of robots, when they do things like this, the sheer volume of things they have to process through their system at one go is like to such a level we've never seen before, that it just means that the idea of downloading emotions and stuff suddenly becomes so much more real, you know? Because beforehand, like downloading such complicated thing that the brain can do is just like, because our brain does loads of stuff. There's billions and billions of neurons which our brain does, which we don't know what's happening, right? The reason we're standing up and breathing, all these things. But the idea now that robots can probably cope, we could probably build a robot now that can cope with all of that, and now it's just finding the, do you know what I mean?
That's great.
Now it's just finding the right way to program it. That's why stuff like this is so significant.
And that, this is about the Shenzhen half marathon that was on the other day. Other day being December. So basically,
this isn't going to come out till like March.
Yeah. So basically, over 250 runners were caught cheating in this half marathon. So some of them were caught just wearing fake bibs. Like I think cameras caught, people wearing the same number, for example. A few of them were caught running under like someone else's registration name. But the majority of those 250 literally just cut through the bushes, popped out the other side where they were like going back, right? And it shaved at least 2 to 3 kilometers off their race. And so they've all been banned. The ones that did the fake bibs and the running under the fake registration have been banned for life. But the ones that cut, shortcut or whatever, have been banned for a few years, I think. But I just couldn't believe it. Oh, and the reason that this made the headlines is because it was caught on camera. So there's actually a video. You see them cut through the bushes, one after another, after another, after another. So bad.
There are only a number of sports where like cheating doesn't make sense. Like when you're doing a marathon, you're trying to beat your time. Like it's a personal thing.
That's right.
I don't understand cheating in a like.
Isn't it like, right, I can do this. I have the mental power to run a marathon.
And the physical ability. It's like 42 kilometers.
Do you not think most people who do marathon, I'd say that back, not most people. Do you not think there's a portion of people who do marathons that do it specifically to say, I've done a marathon?
Yeah.
In which case cheating doesn't matter.
I think, but there is
like they literally don't care about the personal pride.
But there is one like is it the New York Marathon? There's one marathon which you can't enter unless your time is good enough. So if you have you want to run that marathon, then maybe you can cheat to get into that.
Yeah,
your favorite
and
marathon,
on that one actually, I read there was this girl. I can't remember her first name, but her surname was Ruiz. She lied to get into that marathon for a start, but also she won a marathon in like 2.5 hours, full marathon, I think it was. And they were like so suspicious because when she went to collect her things, she wasn't sweating. Her hair was like neat. And they were like, what the hell? But they gave her medal anyway. And then like people started coming forward saying, hang on, we didn't see her running in the race. There's no footage of her running in the race. And she'd only ever run one marathon before where she also randomly was, I think she came 24th, but she was like not sweating or anything. Turns out she like starts the race, skips out, gets on the tube, comes out at the end, appears, and like she won. But yeah, she lied to get into that New York one as well.
How do you normally New York marathons and stuff, especially, isn't the winner normally on camera? Like the person who's leading the race. So if you cheated, wouldn't they like be following the leader, and all of a sudden you hop out of the train station? They're like, hold on. How do you get back on track if you've done that?
I guess you pretend you're going for a wee. You come in doing your flies up, like, yeah, that was and you keep running.
And my other question as well: how is wearing a fake beard cheating a marathon?
Beard, not beard.
Beard. I thought you said beard.
Back to Maxie's earlier comment, Alexander. Sometimes, Alexander, you're such a smart guy.
Fake beard, banned for life.
No fake beard. No fake beard.
That's what I was like. This whole time, I'm like, I'm going to focus on the other runners, but this beard thing's weird.
Hey, what was it?
I'm laughing too much. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so back. So Alexander, you're saying that people run a marathon just so that they
for bragging rights,
and you're saying it doesn't matter if they run a full marathon. They just want to say that they ran. Is that what you're trying to?
Them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to them. Yeah. There's definitely people out there who will have done it just to say they've done it, and won't care if they cheat. Like, probably in a moment, someone was like, "Yo, I know the shortcut," and they were like, whatever. I'm just doing this for the medal. I don't care.
Yeah, I can see the justification in the ones that did the shortcut get less of a ban than the ones that planned ahead.
Yeah, true. But apparently, like, this is like every single marathon, or majority of them is like at least 100 to a few hundred cheats. But this one made headlines. But yeah, I thought it was weird though. But
especially if you're imagine if you go into it and you think you're prepared and you start running, you're like, no chance I'm finishing this thing.
But wouldn't you have anxiety? Like, oh my god, someone's gonna see me cheating. Someone's gonna see me cheating. Or would you just follow the other 299 people that are like ahead of you? They're doing it. I'll do it.
This is going to be a really niche question just for you, but this hopefully will make you understand.
Okay.
If Uncle Jim ran a marathon,
would
you be surprised if he cheated?
No.
Right, that's who we're talking about.
Okay.
To give you an idea.
Is Uncle Jim going to watch this?
I'm sending it to him.
No, he tries to cheat on every game.
Uncle Jim, yeah. He's my name is Uncle, and he cheats in everything as much as
we're going to get one star from one person. We're going to get a 1-star rating.
And in the episode, the first episode, the woman on the Tinder said she didn't like the name Jimmy.
Oh,
that's
she
right.
did.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's true.
You reckon they met? Uncle Jim?
He would have been. He had to get out of there. Then.
I think they met in the bushes between
oh my god,
2 sides of a marathon.
In the bushes.
This is my uncle. This is my uncle.
I think they were both cheating on a marathon and they bumped into each other.
Get this though, guys.
Smoke break.
This. Right, 2000 Olympics, Paralympics, Spain win the gold medal.
Shit, yeah.
Paralympics, what's the main premise of taking part?
You have to have a disability.
What's the main premise of taking part? Oh, as in the requirements?
Yeah.
Is it what Maxie said? Okay,
yeah.
All right, go on.
What Maxie said. 10 of their 12 players.
Alex, just be quiet, you'll get it.
10, deuce, anyway, of their 12 players had no disabilities at all. None whatsoever. Basketball. They win the gold,
10
right?
of the 12 players had no disability?
Yeah. Also, one Spanish swimmer and one table tennis player, Spanish as well. No disabilities at all.
But, I mean, it's one thing cheating against able bodies, but cheating against, like... my only thing is, I've seen this before where there was some people morally. In the Olympics where they were classified as disabled for the Olympics, and then they changed the rules, and then a load of people were then declassified. Like, you're no longer disabled enough. So I wonder if
I don't think
anything to do with that, where like Or because if they were just fully abled people who stepped in, that's bad.
No,
if
they were
kind of disabled and they thought they were...
No, they were like literally no disabilities at all. And even worse, so they investigated further, right? And they actually... it says they blamed it on, so I don't know whether they just blamed it on or it actually was the cause of the founder of the National Association of Special Sports, right? Whose own son has an actual disability. And he's like the mastermind behind it. But they didn't realize until he was making like millions of money off of all these people that are like not disabled.
I feel like getting into the Olympics or Paralympics more so, I feel like there's a lot of checkpoints before you actually turn up to the games.
I don't know how.
How do you get that far?
Well, that's why it was somebody at that caliber that could just, maybe slip them through somehow.
I'll just say, oh yeah,
so it would have to be like, actually, because I imagine there's loads of checkpoints before you go, but also when you arrive, I imagine there's checkpoints, check-ins, sign-ins, finding out who you are, labeling what your disability, like all these different types of things.
But even traveling, like are you walking onto the plane?
No, they're going to have to stage this thing. They would have had complete walkthroughs, beginning to end.
And this is a question
because basketball is wheelchair basketball.
Yeah, it's wheelchair. That's what I'm asking. Did they walk onto the?
No, probably not.
My question would be, not. What would be the point? What would be the point of winning? Right? Because you can't tell anyone. Like you can't brag about it. You can't say I won.
Oh, because the wife would be like, "Hang on,
like what's
what are you doing?"
Anyone would be like, "You're not this.
Yeah,
what are you?"
What are you doing?
Everybody's going to see you on TV win.
I don't know.
Right? There's not.
I don't know.
No, but I mean, like, the
how
athletes...
many times have you watched Paralympic basketball?
Oh, I quite like watching Paralympic basketball when the week comes up.
But
I feel like most people...
Yeah, I'm in the minority. But still, if I see one person I know is not disabled, and it only takes one person, and it takes me in this scenario, if I see you on the Paralympics, Alex, playing basketball... And you jump up and dunk that ball.
out of the chair.
I will be reporting it before anyone else. I'll be like, I know him.
So how did they get caught? Was that scenario?
Because
Max,
there was,
a friend went. He's not paralyzed.
No, there were just suspicions.
So all their friends and family just kept quiet.
Maxie, question: If you did see me on the Paralympic basketball stage, and you were like, I need to tell someone, where would you go? Who would you tell? would you call the police? I don't know who to tell.
No, he'd tell Twitter. You're right, because Alexander, you always advocate that Twitter is the best news source.
Yeah, but Maxie doesn't have any followers, so you're right. No.
All right, here's a question: How far would you go with this narrative, Alexander? Like Maxie's gone. And they're going. All right, we're going to test your legs. We're going to test your legs to see if they're really paralyzed or not.
The night before, he's
this is what I was going to bring
in
up.
the corner going, shall I break my leg? Shall I break my leg?
To play I don't know specifically with wheelchair basketball in the Paralympics, but I know to play wheelchair basketball, you don't have to be disabled on the legs. It's just disabled.
Oh.
And I think, could be wrong, I think there's like a scoring system where the more disabled you are, the lower points you have, and there's a limit of how many points a whole team can have. So I think you're allowed to have people really disabled and people able.
Yeah, you have different levels.
Able people, like full able-bodied people.
It's the same as when you look at swimming and sprinting and stuff. They have like different classifications as well. So that the more able-bodied you are, you participate against people equivalent to your level of ability.
I knew that one. But this team was 80%
That's why I'd be interested, I don't actually know this about wheelchair basketball as to how disabled you would have to be. But I know you don't have to. I know you can walk, for example, and play wheelchair basketball.
Do you know what this is? This is a classic example. You know when we come up with a story, and then we all keep presenting our opinions
and no one really knows.
But then we say it's an opinion afterwards, like, this is how it happens. I don't know, really. That's what I think in this situation. And then you go, actually, I think you're wrong because of this. But I don't know either. And we just bounce around talking about why we don't know and how we think it should work.
You know what's healthy about that is how conversations should happen.
Yeah.
But most people... If Emma kept saying, no, you're wrong, by the way, it's this, it'd be boring.
Oh, here's a couple facts, though, talking about how we don't want
to... I don't know, Dev.
Cheating in the Olympics is how it started.
Well...
Marathon.
For this particular thing, they have to undergo mental tests. And, final thoughts, and it shows that the competitors must have an IQ of no more than 75.
I'm in.
That's
But
interesting.
none of the Spanish, or most of, I think none of them had undergone any medical tests to ensure that they even had a disability. This was the Sydney Olympics.
So you can be, like, you can have no legs, but if you're smart, you're not allowed to play.
Oh, I think that might be one of the
Or is
tests.
that a set? Yeah, I was saying
that's the mental test, but there's other tests as well.
What?
So you only have to pass, like, you only have to
There's certain tests.
Once.
fit into one of the tests.
Oh, I don't know. No.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
as I was
one.
saying, like, if
You
you're
can't
physically
do multiple.
disabled, it doesn't mean you're mentally disabled.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true.
Okay, final thoughts. So, okay, here's the question. Would you cheat just to get the marathon medal?
No.
Maxie?
No.
No.
Dev?
Okay. No.
I thought you were going to say
We
yes, just to be
all
different.
win.
This is one of the... Nobody... If anybody here would cheat, nobody
Yes.
says yes, I would cheat.
Unless you're Uncle Jim. Okay,
Oh,
Maxie,
finally this
this
one.
is your article now, Luxembourg.
Okay, so Luxembourg are proposing that they're going to be the first country ever in the history of countries
Wow.
to have free public transport for every single citizen. Actually, not just citizens. Anybody that uses their network will have free public
I
transport.
was just going to say,
So
it's like for
tourists,
everyone or just... Yeah.
Anyone.
Everyone, sorry, yeah. But you do not have to pay to get on their public transport in anywhere in their country. It is a small country, so it doesn't take more than an hour really to get from anywhere
Yeah.
to anywhere else. It's
So you can pretty much
a
travel the
system
whole
which
country.
you could probably call it a city. Like when we think about this, it's probably like a very big city because the scale, you know what I mean? The
Yeah,
scale of
yeah.
things. So for them to be able to do this, so basically it's like a big city which is gonna just make all of their public transport absolutely free. In the aim to, well, the main aim they talk about is reducing carbon emissions. Basically,
Yeah.
that's the main. It's like an
I think that's
environmental
awesome.
policy.
I actually read,
That-
so it said it's home to about 110,000 people, but a further 400,000 commute into the city to work. And that's even from across the border, like France and Germany and that as well. And it's like got some of the worst traffic in the world. So
Mhm.
it's pretty cool. Relieve congestion, help the environment.
They
I
said
guess where
they said it's free. Is it? Are
Mhm.
they paying more tax?
Well, this is the thing, right? And it's very hard to do it in black and white. There is potential that by making public transport free, because the roads are used less, because you have to dispose of cars and things less, because economically the city will run more smoothly, people can get to work better, because it's going to encourage more businesses to be in Luxembourg. You can argue that actually the government would be better off by making their public transport free than if they were to charge people. There's an argument there. So
Yeah.
there are people that are saying this is we're not free because it just means we all have to sign up for this through tax, and I don't want to use public transport, so I'm paying for everyone else basically.
Yeah.
But that's what happens anyway, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
your tax goes to public transport. It's just how much of it, I guess. But there is an argument there. There is an argument to say actually we might save money in the overall picture by making public transport free, which is quite a
There's a load of
I wonder
goes
if,
against the way you think.
looking what Dev said, like, even though the resultant could be a saving of money, obviously that would take time and that anyway. If it's not an increase of tax, I'd be intrigued to know what costs or what they're spending, they're cutting in order to provide for this. Like, what are they losing out on?
No, but there's a lot of costs involved with driving that aren't just on the owner of the car. So they won't have to worry about that, like medical costs, like road upkeep,
Explain
like
medical costs.
car crashes.
Yeah, but then you're
That's one.
assuming that everyone now uses the public transport.
No,
No,
but it will
not
cut it
everyone.
down.
They know it
quite
won't be everyone.
dramatically.
But I'm
be a shift.
talking from a tax perspective. If you're
Well, this is
paying
the thing.
if you're paying X amount
This-
of tax, if that
Yeah.
doesn't increase, that means
Yeah.
some of the money that you've put in that was going to something else is now going to public transport. I'd be
This
intrigued
is
to
my
know
Maxie
where that was
fact.
going from.
Might not be a fact, but every government has money where they invest in things in the hope for return in the future. So when at the moment this come through two competing parties, and one had this policy, one didn't, right? So they all decided how they're going to distribute their money. This one's saying we're going to invest in free public transport, and this is going to meet our environmental goals. This is going to meet all these goals. And the other one's like, actually, we think it's better if we invest in this technology. Like, money on these things are going somewhere anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not. They are going to cut something, but it's too big and a blurry picture to be like, by reducing this, we're increasing this. There's so many other areas you'll look at their spending money and be like, that's definitely worse than public transport.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, that's what
So,
I was just intrigued. Like this is more of a general intrigue for me. Like, kind of like what I said the other week with Cardi B. She says like, "Where are my receipts?" I'm just genuinely intrigued to see, because like off bat, if you said to me, especially with the size of that country, we're going to pay public transport, it's going to be free for everyone, I'd be like, well, yeah, I fully believe there's enough money through tax to be able to pay for that. But then at the same time, I have no idea how much money they actually make through tax and where that money goes. So I'd be intrigued to see like if you have a ledger.
Every episode is going to go somewhere, doesn't it?
If you have a ledger, if you have a ledger of this is where our money's going, then if they're now adding something in, I'd be intrigued to see what's
you
being
use
pushed
some sort of crypto technology. Yeah, I see where you're going. This is good. Control the supply.
No,
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Let's not go into that, please. Let's not.
Do you think so? If you applied that system, say the money was there and you applied that to England or Australia, bigger countries, do you think the quality of the service would remain, or do you think people would?
That's actually
because I know that's one of the biggest things they talk about here.
That's a good question.
That's a common thing that it's a common con that people say is that, oh well, if it's free, you're not going to get the service, right?
And buses, how many more stops would a bus have to take if it was picking everyone up?
I think.
It'd be the same bus.
I think.
Wouldn't it be the same bus route?
Well, you'd put more buses on, but there'd be less cars. Do you know what I mean?
He's
So
saying
like how long you'd have to stop for, and like the time of a bus would take longer in general.
No, you'll have more buses because there'll be more people using it and there'll be less cars. Like that has to be that way. But this happened before in an American place where they made part of the public transport free, and that did happen. People did abuse the system.
Oh.
So it's quite a
How did they abuse
it will
it?
work for some. Like, as in, people will just, alcoholics will just sleep on it and stuff. Like,
Okay.
Oh.
do you know what I mean? And what was the other one? There was something else which people, for some reason, people not paying for their tickets were more abusive to staff. Those numbers went up.
Oh.
So there are negatives. So it depends on the city. Like some city, like this is the thing about city planning. There's no set model for every city. Like some societies work better with.
Yeah.
So for Luxembourg, it might work for those. But there are other things you can do to try and prevent that. Like there's a suggestion that maybe we can have free zone, and then you can pay to go into a different zone of the public transport.
Yeah. Right.
They've already
the only
actually
thing about
started
that is you're literally drawing a line
this.
saying these people are richer than you. That's like a very big equality, issue.
But they've already started implementing it with under 20s, which are already free there now. And then I think it said everyone else is only like €2, sorry, which is pretty cheap anyway.
Yeah, to go anywhere.
And that pretty much gets them anywhere. But there are other pros though as well. Like they say more people will be able to get jobs because they'll be able to get to their jobs, so they can apply and be like, oh sweet, I can actually get there. Like you said, businesses will open up. You'll get more jobs within the transport industry, even though you may lose jobs in the car industry, and the car industry may suffer. Well, it probably will suffer, but you will actually replenish those jobs within the public transport industry.
Maintenance. My question would be maintenance. We had the motorway. There was a motorway here that we, after 20 years, we paid off the motorway, right? So they made it free, no tolls on this motorway. And during that period, the roads got really, really bad. Like no one was taking care of it because there was no money so the roads got really, really bad. There was potholes were starting to, and then they just put these patchy jobs, right? And all of a sudden they said, we're going to expand this motorway. The toll had to come back. Now the roads are getting better. But like with the lack of money coming into transport, is the maintenance just going to like, because you said there's going to be more buses, more trains, there's going to be more equipment.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to.
But there could be less wear and tear on the roads, couldn't there? Because cars.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking
every
about the buses. But the buses.
I will say.
Just maintenance of them in general.
The maintenance of buses,
with...
trains, because there's gonna be more of them.
Yeah. So
apparently,
this is like
very costly to just manufacture public transport as well. But yeah.
That's like. This is gonna make me like look how clever I am, but this is literally my job to maintain trains.
Oh, there you go. Max is our SME.
Oh, that's why
Teach us.
I'm just gonna say on that's why I was asking the question.
The biggest thing is on that point is the money. Like they will have what they think is a budget to maintain the whatever efficiently, right? So if the government keep providing that money, it's all good. But if the people doing the maintaining, and this is I've worked for like in a few different so I've been in Norway and England, and some places are publicly owned and some are privately owned. You tend to find as soon as they make it publicly owned, the people making the decisions don't care as much, and it's more about the government's got crazy amount of money.
Yeah,
we can spend it however we want.
Yeah.
So they don't care about making the processes more efficient. They don't care about. They just want to know we're getting a paycheck. We tick the box we need to tick. We go home. In private company, they're forcing their workers to reduce the cost so they can make more money. So if you had a system, which is how the UK operates at the moment, where you take a private company, you say, here is this much money, now maintain the roads the best you can. If you don't do it well enough, we'll get somebody else. I personally believe, and there's people that disagree, those systems work really well.
Yeah.
But it's when it's only private owned, it means they'll cut corners and to save money and have a bad road. Or if it's only public owned, they have lots of money, they just don't care how they spend it and have a bad road. So it's about
balance.
That can happen. It's about how do you balance the systems to make sure it doesn't happen.
Okay.
So that's the thing. That's what scares me about experiments like this. I really like them, but if it goes wrong, it's probably not because the transport's free. It's because how they ran the system in the background.
So,
ding, ding, ding. Final thoughts. Go.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's good. I think it's a good idea that they're doing. I'm interested to see what's going to happen, if it's going to turn out well for
I have
them.
a question, my final thought. If, Dev, specifically to you.
I am not your final thought. Continue.
If Sydney goes, free public transport for all, would you
use it?
Would you go, right, I'm ditching the car,
No.
I'm getting on the bus every day to go to work?
No.
You don't have to ditch the car, but would you use public transport more often?
No, because my work is nowhere near public transport.
I mean, you can get there. You might just have to take a couple.
I can walk. I'm just saying, it doesn't mean I'm going to do that. I can ride my bike there. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I want to know why.
You know what? I probably would use it because, Dev, what you just said is such a, I feel like, hypothetical, not real. Like, you said you would rather take a bike than public. That means you now have a bike you have to take care of.
I've taken. I used to ride. I used to ride to work.
No, but I'm talking about in the sense of if you could just get on a bus for free.
No.
Would you not just take
because it's just not taking because it's not outside my house. I'd have to walk to the bus stop, which is another 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
They're pretty far.
And then I'd have to go to the main bus route, change there, then go to Parramatta, and then then walk from the bus stop all the way to my. It's not like you make it out like it's. I can just jump off.
No, I wasn't. I was asking.
No, I hate this interrogation. I hate this.
where I see use for me would be completely unplanned. Like I'm walking down the street. I've got to now go over here, and there just happens to be a bus on that route. Let me just hop on it.
We don't want those people getting on the bus.
But that's more where I see myself using it.
No, we don't want that. We want the people that were driving cars on the bus. This is that's the whole solution.
There's no.
That's worse for the environment.
I don't see
people that carry around.
I don't see people jumping on a. I don't see getting on a bus as an equivalent as driving a car. I understand from an environmental standpoint why, but personally, the experience.
It depends where you live.
Yeah, I think young professionals would take it up in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Me as a mum of 3 kids probably would prefer to go in a car because 2 of them are probably likely to fall asleep and blah 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 blah. But if I was kidless or whatever, I'd probably just hop on the public transport. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but you just
taking a car. Cars
it's
cost
not
a
convenient.
bloody the leg.
Just for you.
But you just said if I was
where
single,
you live,
if I was single and had no job, I'd catch a bus.
No, single and I had a job.
But that's like you going to Mars. Remember when you said go to Mars? Not in this life. But if I was single and you're given scenarios that's not. It's not realistic.
No, if I worked full time and the kids were at daycare,
I'm sick of this conversation. Let's go to the next one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can I just add? I don't think I was going to make it an article. Just one real quick thing, right?
Yeah.
There's buses in Switzerland where they have small batteries on top, which can get them about 2 kilometers ish, and then or maybe less, maybe even 1 mile. What guys use miles, right?
Kilometers.
Kilometers.
Weirdos.
Yeah, 1 or 2 kilometers. It can travel about 1 or 2 kilometers. But what it does is this battery is obviously really small, but it goes to the bus stop, and then on top of the bus stop, there's a little thing that zaps the bus with enough power to charge that battery up. Then it drives to the next bus stop, and it zaps the bus, and it takes 15 seconds to charge it fully. Which means you can have, because normally to get a bus to do a whole route, the battery would weigh like 6 tons. Like it has to be a massive battery and take up loads of room.
Wow.
They have this little 1/2 ton battery on top, which they can charge, drive to the bus stop, charge, drive to the bus stop, and it's like lightweight. It's completely
You know what that reminds me of?
you don't need those big overhead
Train.
lines which you see on like
Oh,
train
you
tracks.
don't? What? So it's just a structure at each stop that they.
Bumper bar.
Yeah, like it comes out. It's like an arm. This is the bus. The arm comes out. It goes.
So every single
doesn't
time
even
it
touch
stops.
And it
Okay,
goes-
so
and
a
then drives
question: what if no one's getting on or off at that stop? It's still got to stop anyway.
They still hit
It
that.
depends on the range, I guess.
They'll still hit the thing though when it gets to
No,
the
but
Yeah,
stop.
but it takes
the arm
15
comes
seconds. They have to
out.
stop for 15
Oh.
seconds.
It
And it
reminds
doesn't.
me of
It has to come out as well once it stops.
you'd
It
have to
registers
factor
stop and then it
in
comes out.
how many stops do you have to get to work, and 15 seconds times that, and that's how extra early you've got to leave.
No, because buses stop at the moment roughly that anyway. Is what
say
they're saying.
buses in England, depending
Oh, yeah.
on where, like in a town, will stop en route anyway, even if there's no one there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they have a
right.
time to stick to, don't they?
Yeah, true.
So if you skip a stop, you get to the next one early.
They
Which,
used to
if you're
when I
catching
used to
at that
catch
next stop-
buses, they used to piss me off. Especially when he'd just stop at a bus stop and I'm like, there's no one here. And you open the door. Like, why are you opening the door? Shut the door.
That's the door
What?
thing. Especially when it's cold. They're
Yeah,
always
I'm like,
open.
what are
It's
you
like,
doing?
why?
You just let all the aircon out. What are you doing?
We live in different worlds. You're worried about aircon. I'm worried about heat.
Don't worry, we get that way in
I
winter
fucking
too.
hate you guys.
This is one of your
No,
ones.
you. You go.
All right, so this woman gets pulled over by the cops, and I think the cops smelt marijuana. So then he searched the car, and then he found a bag of cocaine in her purse and something else, can't remember. And he's like, "Hey, what's this in your purse?" And she goes, "I don't know. It's really windy today. I think the wind blew it in."
No, Maxie, you cannot stand up for that. You cannot stand up for that kind of
I don't think
storytelling.
I did it justice.
You cannot
I don't think
stand
I
up
did it justice. I
for
think
that
she was like,
storytelling.
"Hey man,
Oh,
the
that
wind's
punchline was
blowing
just
in,
for
I
you,
don't
Emma.
know."
That was
I
brilliant.
thought you were laughing at the joke, Alex. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing
Yeah.
at Emma, how much she cracked up at her own punchline.
Okay, that bit got me going as well. That made me laugh as much.
I'm sorry, but I thought it
Maybe
was
more.
just funny. Yeah.
I had an example when I was like growing up of a
Oh my
lie that
God.
got out of hand, right? So I'm grounded. So I'm
Oh, this
not
is good
when I'm
start.
grounded with my mum, I'm not allowed like to do anything. I'm allowed to sit in my room. I'm allowed to read a book, but it has to be an informative book, and I can clean. That's all I can do
Oh
when
my
I'm grounded.
God.
So I have a week. I go to school and I come home and I do that.
Yeah.
But I was at school and we had like a football match. And all my friends were like, "Oh, Maxie, we need you." I was really good at football, by the way. "We need you to play football." No, I'm joking. I was alright. Anyway, we need you to play. So I was like, I'm letting the
no.
slide down if I don't play, right? So I'm like, "Okay, guys, look, I'm grounded, but you know what? I'll play and I'll just I'll think of something. I'll come up with an excuse." So bear in mind, for whatever stupid reason, like I have this thing where I always just think my quick thinking in the spot. I'm better thinking on the spot than I am just making a plan.
Yeah.
Because if I think about it too much, I would say something. There'll be a flaw in it. So my mum, I get home and I'm like, "Oh fuck, I got to tell my mum now why I'm so late." And then I say to her, one of my friend's older brothers said he would drive me home, and then we were just like went the back route, and I was too shy to say anything because she was like, maybe that makes sense. Like they're intimate, like older guys. She's like, well, where did they drive? And I was like, oh, they just drove up like near the motorway and back and dropped and that way. And she's like, yeah, but that only takes like, I don't know, 10 minutes. I was like, oh no, he dropped me off at the motorway, so I had to walk all the way back.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, still trying to push this line. She's like, you're telling me that your friend's older brother took you 5 miles away from your school and just dropped you off, so you had to walk home on your own? I was like, yes, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, that sounds bad. So my mum then calls up, says, right, I'm going to ring his mum. I'm like, uh-oh. And mums get involved. When you're like an 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid, that's like, no! I'm going to jail forever. So I call up my friend. I'm like, hey, look, listen, because my friend's mum happens to be pretty cool. Like, she's normally on the side of the kids. Like, in their sleepovers, she's the one that's like, yeah, just pretend you're at mine. You can go to the, I don't know, whatever.
No
so
way.
I call up him. I'm like, can you ask your mum that my mum's going to call and just, like, back up the story? And he's like, yeah, I'll tell her. And then my mum calls, and then she's never going to say to somebody else that her kid dropped a little kid off on the other side of town. So she's just like, that's not a... Yeah, that didn't happen. And then obviously, I'm watching my mum on the phone go through it like, please, 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 please. And then she puts it down, looks at me, and was like, right, get to your room. I'm like,
oh, no.
How much better are you at lying because of that experience, though?
I stopped lying, so I'm worse, if anything.
I was going to say,
yeah.
I was going to say, to me, that was where I learned.
I'm a really
that was
bad
when I
liar,
learned to lie when I was a kid. Was when I got caught, and it was like, right, so that's the line of questioning I'm going to get next time.
My mum was clever because my mum would, I'm sure she purposely made me lie more. She'd be like, so this means this then? I'm like, yeah, and this means this? It must mean that, you're right, Mum. Wow.
Her tactic was
Let me check that out.
Her tactic was to agree, to get you to agree till it was so ridiculous that she could go, all right.
It's like, have you seen in the interview politicians, they always try and get them to say something like stupid.
Yeah, I remember my
she did that
mum.
to an 11-year-old kid. Of course she was going to win. She won every single time.
I remember Mum interrogating me after I'd been to band practice, saying, have you been smoking? I said, no.
Smoking?
Yeah, I was about, well, when did I play in the band? I don't know. Let's say I used to walk there and back on my own. Let's say 13, 12. And I was like, no. She was like, yes, you have. And I was like, no, I haven't. She goes, come here. And I had to breathe on her. And I used to practice. Our band practice was in a pub, like above a pub. So I'm like, Mum, I play above a pub. And they always have a break and you go into the pub and you buy your mints or whatever from the bar or whatever. But she literally made me breathe on her. Like, she was trying to catch me out.
Did you say the wind blew it into you?
That's a wrap, guys. If you enjoyed today's podcast, then please subscribe and leave a comment on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean. Bye until next week.